Hello everyone, it's Leo, and in this video we are going to talk about some interesting information about Healing Good PreCure. Those info were shared with us on the official complete book, Healing Good PreCure official complete book, and they were also translated and shared by Latte-sama's servant on Discord. Thank you so much, Latte, for sharing with us this piece of info, and I always find it very interesting that we get to learn more about the background and the production phase of a season, how they decided on certain things and ideas for the whole thing. One interesting information that was contained in this book was that 2 years prior to the book interview, Healing Good PreCure was already in production. They were already planning and producing it. So yes, look, this is very early on, and that's very interesting to know that they start working very early on in a season. And Healing Good was also a season that was already supposed to be shorter. It was supposed to be shorter because 2020 was supposed to be the Olympics year, so they would have less Sundays to air episodes on television, but it ended up being 1 episode shorter than their original plan. Now talking about the ending of Healing Good, when Tropico Rouge PreCure's debut was decided to be on February 28, they still didn't know if episode 45 would actually air on TV or not. So they had to create the ending on episode 44. Episode 44 was supposed to be like a true ending, and if it was possible, episode 45 would air on TV. So what they did was to try to close the story on episode 44, and that's what they did. And episode 45 was a what if that actually ended up happening. We also got to learn a little bit more about how the pandemic ended up hurting the production of the series. First, in the dubbing. Because of the restrictions, they only could work with 4 voice actors at a time. They had to take turns in recording, and the staff had to rearrange everybody's schedule to fit this type of recording. Interesting is that it's still happening even with Tropico Rouge. They are still working in this new model. So they only work with 4 people at a time, which seems to be different than the regular type of voice acting in Japan. The animation team also had a rough time. They had to work from home, and because of that, they couldn't have the reference sheets because they were in the actual studio, so they couldn't go to the studio to get the reference sheets, so they had to work without them. Yamaoka Naoko, the character designer for Healing Good PreCure, had a very rough time with the design of Cure Grace. After she designed Cure Grace, with lots of reference images, she had to correct Cure Grace's images 13 times. It was very rough for her, and she got so angry at the end that she said, "Who the hell designed this?" Well, girl, I'm sorry to say, I think you know who did it. Now some info that was shared by the director Ikeda Yoko. She said that she was very surprised with people's reaction to episode 42 and Nodoka's decision. She would never imagine that people would turn and criticize Nodoka for deciding for her own health and safety. And she also stated that it's very cruel to wish for Nodoka to sacrifice her own body and health for something else. Because of this, a very interesting thought that she shared was, it doesn't matter if the villain is beautiful, handsome, cool, or not. This is not how you should decide their future. And she also shared that maybe it's not a good idea making villains so handsome like Daruizen. I mean, I don't agree with this statement. I love Guaido, you guys know that. But if you look at the reaction from the internet, people simp Daruizen, okay? They really do. And she said that maybe it's not a good idea to actually make villains so handsome, but it was actually someone from the staff who really demanded it with a lot of passion to have a cool villain like Daruizen so that parents could enjoy Healing Good as well. Ikeda also shared that she really wanted to show the Healing Good PreCure girls as actual girls and focus a lot on their human counterparts and not really much on their Cure counterparts. She said that people who have been watching PreCure for years might expect too much from the Cures. but she actually wanted to develop them more as humans. She decided to create cures who cherish their own true feelings. And I found that very interesting because looking back, that's really what happened in Healing Good, and I think that she did a very good job with the three main characters. I really believe that the thing she was going for actually happened, and in a very good way. Also, Ikeda said that the story is very straightforward for kids to be able to understand it. The main point of the story is that little girls are gonna watch it and they have to understand it. So yes, we that are older and that watch PreCure, we can watch it and we can take our own thing about it, but let's not get too far-fetched in our own thoughts because the story is supposed to be simple because it is for little girls to understand. An interesting fact about the healing animals is that they were chosen as animals because children love animals. And we know that their paws are a very important thing on Healing Good, and they decided to choose a penguin and put paws in the penguin because they know penguins don't have paws like cats and rabbits, like they do have, but they're different. But they decided to do Peggyton that way because they knew people would love Peggyton and they would love Peggyton's cuteness. And Ikeda even said that Peggyton isn't supposed to be a penguin. He is just a penguin-like creature. So that was the idea behind the healing animals, and I think that it also worked very well because they are pretty much loved by the fandom and they are great mascots. And one other interesting information they shared is Chiyu was not done as a sport girl because of the Olympics. The thought process of Chiyu was to create someone who was very different from Nodoka, who's a girl who is not very athletic, and also someone who Nodoka aspires to be like, someone who Nodoka admires, and someone who Nodoka looks up to. So those are some of the interesting informations contained on the official complete book from Healing Good PreCure. This book has a lot of things, and you can buy it through the internet in lots of different sites. It's all in Japanese though. I think that for people who really liked Healing Good, it is a big present. And as I said, it's always great to look back at a season and, you know, get the point and see the ideas that they were trying to make and some details about it. We've been doing it a lot with Healing Good, right? But I've been thinking it's a lot of fun and it's great to revisit a season that is already over and we can look back and remember great moments we had with Healing Good PreCure. Anyways, this is all for now. I want to take this time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, if you are a supporter, thank you very, very much for all of your support and for believing in Magical Cinnamon. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!